What's up, guys? You're listening to another episode of Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. What are popping topics? In today's episode and video, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to show you guys on screen or talk you through the popping topics feature of SmartScout. This is a very, very fun tool that's included in this software to show you guys what is trending in the right directions. Now, we've got some episodes on the podcast talking specifically about why being first to market isn't always the best thing. If you haven't had a chance to go listen to that episode, I highly recommend it. But there can be benefits, obviously, in selling products in emerging markets. Like, you may not want to be the very, very, very first person to sell a product because there's just no demand yet. But by using this popping topics tool, we can see what is growing in demand. And the best part is we can look at some broader timeframes. So we're going to go over the tool in this episode. Now, again, if you guys are interested in checking out SmartScout or grabbing it for a sweet discount to add to your Amazon FBA arsenal of tools, I've got a link in the description right here. So just scroll down. You'll see my affiliate link right there. That'll get you guys 25% off 3 months. So again, I'd highly recommend at least snagging it for 3 months, especially during your product research phase of your business, whether it's your first product or a new product line. Man, I'm just finding so many fun little features of this software tool the more that I use it. So let's dive into it here. I've got SmartScout logged in over here on my desktop, and I'm going to go through this process here of the popping topics tool. You can find this tool over on the left-hand side under keyword. Off the bat, it's going to load popping topics for all subcategories. So if I click on this little subcategories, you're going to see all the different subcategories on Amazon, except media, obviously. So we can unselect all and just look in certain categories. If, let's say, your brand is in automotive or your brand is in sports and outdoors, we could only look at, specific categories. So that'd be a good thing to do. Again, if you already have an existing brand and you're like, hey, I'm looking for a new product, emerging product line to add to my brand, that's what I'd recommend. But if you're someone who's like, hey, I'm just getting started, I'm still my options are open, I'm looking at all the options out there, then just kind of keeping everything open right now is an interesting way to look over things. But right here at the top too, I want to tell you guys about the time frame. So right here at the top, I can see different time frames. So I can actually see what's popping off in 1 month, in the last month, what is trending the most. And these are organized by growth in search volume. So we can see like, okay, the Has Been Hotel the search has increased insane over the past 30 days. Now, we may see some stuff popping up here as it relates to like Prime Video potentially. I'm actually not even sure what Has Been Hotel is. Let's look. Oh, it's like some sort of movie, it looks like. Maybe it's a cartoon show. Let's see here. Oh, Prime Video. Okay. It is a Prime Video. So that is showing up here for searches on Amazon. So we do have to keep that in mind. Media is unselected, but I think we're still going to see maybe search terms because people may just be going to Amazon.com and searching Has Been Hotel, if that's how you say it. But anyways, we can see a lot of other popping topics here within just all categories. So one that we can see, here's a good example right here. In the past month, the search term Christmas tree storage bag has exploded. 448,000 growth increases in searches over the last 30 days. But again, that makes total sense because, Christmas is over. It's January. We're wrapping up January, really, right? Moving into February. And, well, technically, I guess, as this episode is being posted, it is February for you guys. But people may be late to getting their Christmas trees stored, or they're trying to store their fake tree, right? And they're like, oh, this is a pain in the butt. I need somewhere to put this. So, searches for that is super, super high right now. Now, as I'm recording this, again, we're approaching Valentine's Day. Look at all these search terms for Valentine's gifts. It's up in the last 30 days. Like if we were to go back right here, I'm looking at Valentine's Day gifts for kids. On December 9th, that search term, again, this is based around keyword searches. Valentine's Day gifts for kids was searched December 9th, 7,806 times. If I were to go to that today, and again, today it's still January. It's January 24th. I'm recording a little in advance for you guys to stay on schedule. 439,000 searches. It went from 7,000 to 439,000. Massive spike in search volume, right? So that could give you ideas for, okay, maybe there's some seasonal SKUs. If you have a brand and there's something you could add to your product line that relates to Valentine's, there you go. There's a great way to spike growth and brand awareness. But to kind of talk about, to try to get away from like super trending stuff, let's actually expand this time frame. Let's expand it out to 1 year. Now we can see in all categories who has had the most growth over a 1 year time frame. Now, you are going to see some stuff that maybe will also pop up in the 30-day, like for example, Has-Been Hotel. 736,000 searches. That's the increase over the last year, which is the biggest growth. But it makes sense because like a year ago, it was like barely getting searched. So I don't know anything about this, but about this show or movie or whatever it is. But for some reason in the last week, it has gone bonkers as far as searches on Amazon. But we can see again some other stuff here that has slowly, we can like 2024 planner, the demand throughout the year of 2023 slowly increased until it's reached kind of like a major spike right there at the beginning of 2024. And now we can see it's actually starting to dip back down, which makes total sense. So we can analyze these different topics here. And as we scroll, we can see, okay, what is showing maybe good, consistent, emerging growth over the past 12 months? Here's a great example. Stanley. If we look at this growth chart for Stanley over the past 12 months, it's much more consistent, which we could say this is a much more predictable pattern of growth for the future as well. Over the past 12 months, it went from being searched 273,000 times last January to this January, it's 700,000. So 200,000, 700,000, good growth, 485,000 search increase over the past 12 months, but it's a nice steady growth. So we can say, okay, Stanley, well, I talk about Stanley all the time. I literally talk about Stanley all the time. I have a Stanley cup right here. It's actually one that my wife got as a gift from her friend, but my wife doesn't like drinking from a Stanley, but I do. So I rep the women's Stanley mug, but great example of someone who is building a brand. And obviously they're getting a ton of brand searches on Amazon. So good for Stanley. But here's another one right next to it. Stanley Cup accessories. Following that similar increase in search trend over the past 12 months. So there you go. For most of you guys, like if you're going to sell a tumbler, you're like, I can't sell Stanley because Stanley's a brand and I'm not Stanley. But you can sell Stanley Cup accessories as a third-party brand. And that is a nice, good, growing, emerging market right there. Here's a fun one. Hand warmers. If we look at the trend of hand warmers over the last 12 months, again, we're going back to January of 2023, and there's a nice increase right there. Like it spikes up, February, it had the spike 368,000, and then it slowly fades away into summertime in the United States. It gets down there around 40,000 searches, which is kind of shocking to me that still in the summertime, it's getting searched that many times. But what we've seen is we can kind of compare to 2023, and the searches are actually way up. Hand warmers peaked, at least again, in the last 12 months. I can't see like November, December, but in the last 12 months, I can see it peaked February 4th, 2023 at 368,000. It has peaked even higher at 656,000. That's almost double January 13th. So just pure demand year over year looks to be increasing for hand warmers. So again, interesting to note. Let's try to find some other ones. Ooh, bathroom organizers and storage is up big time since fourth quarter. Now, here's what's interesting about this one. Bathroom organizers and storage, it peaked there in like October 21st, it looks like, which was right around the Prime Day event, Fall Prime Day. So that makes sense. People shopping a lot. Then it kind of dipped back down a little bit, but it maintained some good search volume from Black Friday through Christmas. 250,000 searches roughly during those 3 weeks. I'm pretty sure this is also searches per week if we like are highlighting here on the chart if you're watching on YouTube. But here's what's interesting to me. There's actually more demand on January 6th for bathroom organizers and storage than there was on Prime Day and Black Friday and before Christmas. But again, I think you're assuming the same thing I am. It's the new year. People want to get their life together. They have a resolution to be more organized with their bathrooms. Gosh, we need to get on that. My bathroom is a disaster. But it's a nice big growth. I mean, if I'm comparing bathroom organizers and storage estimated searches January 7th of 2023, it was 29,000. So that is a massive, massive increase January to January of the last year. So that again, that would lead me to do much more research as far as like, what is driving that? There's a movement. There's got to be stuff happening on social media. There's an influencer movement. Usually, guys, you can kind of, the way that I would go about this too, if you're like doing this research here using popping topics, is you almost pair this with like TikTok and Instagram, or maybe Pinterest if you're into Pinterest, and Google Trends. So you're kind of using all your different research, market research tools to kind of see like, why are bathroom organizers in storage? Go search it on TikTok. See if there's a whole bunch of viral videos. See if the big influencers are posting more about it. And that might be something that's here to stay. So you can get creative with that. But I think the big key, guys, here is obviously, like, let's go back to bathroom storage or bathroom organizers and storage. Obviously, we're seeing a massive spike right now. And if we kind of zoom in right here, it seems like it's dipping down just a hair over the past week, but it's still way up there. I think the key, guys, if you really want to capitalize on a popping topic or a trend is, I mean, if you see this right here and you're like, whoa, bathroom organizer and storage. It's like, yeah, you could go and develop one, find suppliers, do this whole sample thing, but that could take you 6 to 8 months to launch that product. Realistically, right? If you want to do it good. So who knows if 6 to 8 months from now, demand for bathroom organizers and storage could come way back down to earth and you're like, oh crap, you kind of missed the trend, right? You missed the peak. So I think it's almost like trying to invest in the stock market. You never want to buy a stock at its peak. A lot of people did this with Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin kind of looked like some of these here. It kind of looked like Planner 2024 over here, where it was like shooting up to the moon and everyone was super hyped about it back in like 2019, 2020. And then it came all the way back down to earth. The problem is a ton of people bought Bitcoin at its peak. And now they've all lost a whole bunch of money. And it's the same thing with stock, right? You never really want to buy a stock at its peak hype because it's really hard to know if it's going to like maintain that. Now, that being said, the goal, I would say, like if I'm looking at bathroom organizers and storage, the goal would be like to come in at this peak right here back in August, where it peaked from its usual, 14,000 searches, 3940 for a good consistent months. And then it peaked up at 91. That's when you would want to jump in and be like, ooh, this is starting to gain momentum. If you got in August, and let's say you started that process and you got your product launch in, whatever, 4, 6, 8 months, you'd still be in market right now as we're still in the hot period. So seeing like super, super high peaks, that could be kind of like a red flag. And also, again, you got to think about like the logic behind it. Okay, why are people buying planners? Why are people buying bathroom organizers? It's the new year, it's a resolution. That's likely going to fade a little bit. But again, if you see some others here, let's scroll down a little bit further and see if we can find some others that maybe are peaking and kind of staying. Silk pillowcases. This one is interesting. It was down there in the 30,000 searches in early 2023. Then for some reason, once August hit, searches went crazy high. Something happened, guys. The summer of 2023, again, I don't know if it was influencers, a social media trend, and searches bumped all the way up to 341,000. Now, here's what's interesting. It's pretty much maintained that. We didn't really see much of a spike from that in fourth quarter and even out into January. But something simply just completely elevated the demand for silk pillowcases, and it's here to stay. So that would be a great example for me if I'm like, okay, I'm in the bedding space, I'm in the textile space. Silk pillowcases, demand has increased significantly in the past 12 months, and it looks to be stable from there. So that would be another product that you're like, ooh, that's interesting to me to jump on that. Let me see if we can find Floating shelves for wall. Here's another good one. We're seeing we can see some big peaks and some big dips, big peak, big dip. It looks to be pretty volatile, but over time, it looks to be following that nice steady growth trend. Now there's some other ones here, but we're trying to stay from branded stuff, obviously. Hydrogen water bottle, that might be a brand. Blue light glasses for women. So maybe women are starting to adopt the blue light glasses maybe more than previously. Bubble Skincare, Ninja Creamy. We just bought one of those. That's a huge trend on social right now. Blood pressure monitor. Interesting. That's showing some nice steady growth over the past 12 months. Vitamin C face serum is showing some good increase in trend over the last 12 months. Treadmills for home. Boom. Another great example of demand seeing some big spikes there in the summertime. Interesting to me that it would spike in the summertime. You'd think people would be a little more willing to go outside for a walk. I would expect a bigger spike in the winter, which we did see in fourth quarter. But if you again, were to draw a trend line through this for all you statistics people out there, if you were to add a trend line through this, it would be a nice growth over the last 12 months. And I actually just bought a treadmill. I bought a standing desk treadmill. And I think that's definitely an emerging trend now. It's going to be a little bit more complicated product to develop, but still. Stanley, man. Stanley's popping up everywhere over here. Straw for Stanley. Rosemary oil for hair growth. Nice increase. Shilajit, pure Himalayan organic, whatever that is. Probably some sort of salt. Nice, good growth trend there. Element is probably how you say it. Electrolytes, that's increasing. Walking pad treadmill. That's, I think, probably more what we're talking about the standing desk. So, interesting to see here. Let's actually, just to wrap up this episode, I actually want to look at this more on a category perspective just to show you. Let's just pick one here. Let's pick sports and outdoors for funsies and just see what we can find here under sports and outdoors. I'm going to let this load for just a second. Okay, actually, I want to click on this grid view really fast too. Okay, so I'm seeing the top 100 popping topics over the last year for sports and outdoors. And I'm seeing it in a grid view. And I can click, next page to go to the next page. I'm only showing 25 results per page. But I just want to show you guys, that's another way to look at it. If you just want to sort okay, let's sort 1 year growth, high to low. Here are the most increased search volume keywords in the last 12 months in the sports category. Hand warmers, treadmills for home, dumbbell set, walking pad treadmill, steppers for exercise at home, electric scooter adults, survival gear and supplies, has hot hands hand warmers, water bottle, heated gloves, silent basketball. Okay, let's check this out. I'm going to try to find it right here. Oh, there it is. Ooh. Interesting. Oh, I can click on it. I just clicked on it for fun too. This is actually showing nice, steady market growth in the last 12 months for silent basketball. I can also see ooh, this is interesting. Down below, I can actually see related search terms and see how those are spiking or increasing. I don't even know what this is. Now I'm so curious. Let me open it on Amazon and see what this is. Quiet basketball indoor, uncoated, high density foam ball. Okay, so literally, guys, it's just like a foam ball, but it has painting on it like it's a basketball. Oh my word. I might have just hit the jackpot. I wish I had a sports brand right now. This brand right here, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see it. Again, shout out to everyone who's subscribed and watching on YouTube. AMZ with Andy Isom. You guys are getting more than just listening, right? You get to see what I'm seeing on my screen. This brand right here, guys, is selling right now. If I scroll up and look at my Jungle Scout data, 3,000 units a month for $34,000 in monthly revenue. And they have 11 reviews, 11. And the average rating, guys, 2.5 stars. With a 2.5 star average, which is horrible, and only 11 reviews, they're selling 67 of these bad boys per day. Oh my heavens. What's this one? Generic. No. Guys, this one is selling. This one is selling for $30. $30. And they've sold 40, they're selling 42 a day, 1,000 in the last month for $31,000 in revenue. They're making an insanity profit margin off this product. Now, it is a little bit of a generic product, but guys, you could brand this. You could brand this. You could add a cooler design. You could add a fun brand name to it. You could really push social media with this. Interesting. Interesting. I think that's the win of the day so far with opportunity. But like, these are the products and things, guys, that like you may not even think about or know about, but it's still early enough and we still got a lot of basketball season left. Like, we're not even close to the NBA playoffs yet, right? We're just reaching the All-Star break right now. There's time. This is going to be even bigger. I'm predicting this trend is even going to be bigger once we hit March Madness and then the NBA playoffs. Again, that's what I'm telling you guys. I wish I had a sports brand right now because I would go nuts with that product. Very cool. Now, again, who knows if those are here, if that, you know, that silent basketball is here to stay. But man, it would be nice to capitalize on that, grab a whole bunch of sales. And, you know, maybe if it does fade, fine. But at least you're building your brand with that product, with that SKU. And then again, you look for other products, other opportunities within that brand, you know, stick to your brand. And you're just going to keep building your brand reputation, building your social media following. And you can really massively leverage these hot popping, trending SKUs as it makes sense, right? Especially if you can get in at a good time and capitalize on that. Guys, I hope you found value in this episode. Again, I've got the link to get SmartScout 25% off for 3 months here in the description. Go grab it, go play around, see where there's hidden opportunities that you might be missing or that other people are not finding because they're not following these strategies that we're teaching you guys. Appreciate the reviews, the subscribers, the likes on these videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, I would love to see a thumbs up. That would mean so much to me. Also, of course, the subscribe. So appreciate you guys for watching, listening, following, wherever you're following along and learning with us. Once again, I'm Andy. You're listening to Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. We'll see you in the next episode.